Welcome to episode 1517 of Gamertag Radio. I'm your host, Paris, and as always, I'm joined by Pete.
What's up?
And I'm doing fine. And as you notice, we have Rihanna Manuel Pena. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Close enough.
But you're joining us this week. Yeah, close enough. So no, I'm very happy to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in the chair today. Danny is taking daughter duty, so I will be checking in with my thoughts on our amazing questions today and giving some background on a recent event that we attended. So hopefully that is interesting to everybody, and I can give you guys some inside insights.
I got a lot of questions about that, and thank God Danny is not here. So we will actually have a show where we will have thoughtful discussions without any interruptions. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I've been waiting 20 years for this, just so y'all know. So, I mean, this is kind of a slow news week. Just, nothing really crazy has happened in gaming this week. But I do want to remind everybody at the top, go follow us, gamertagradio.com. All our episodes are over there. You can follow us on our various social media platforms, YouTube, Twitch. We're all on social media on Twitter, because I won't call it the other thing, Blue Sky, all those great things. So follow us over there. Please send us questions, feedback. We love to hear it. We got a couple questions that we will play this week on fan mail. So looking forward to that as well. Rihanna, I do want to get into your week here in just a second, but I have something that I want to bring up that I have not said a peep on the entire week. And I've noticed that people have had a lot to say about it. And I'm actually curious if you two have followed this at all. But it's the PlayStation DRM issue that's been going on. Pete, have you been following this? Do you know anything about it?
I saw something come across my timeline. It has something to do with if you have the game for 3 hours or something like that, it locks the game to your system or something. Again, I don't have a PS5, so I really don't pay attention to it a lot, but I did see something come across the timeline. Probably the worst person to ask about it.
And Rihanna, what about yourself?
Yeah, same. As you know, I was traveling last week, so I caught a little bit of it, but I don't know what the final consensus was. I know there was like some digging and code, and then some statement, and then people not believing statements, and I'm not sure where everything landed.
So, and I'm not going to sit here and say I 100% know everything myself. I've just been a silent observer of seeing various comments that were going back and forth. So essentially, it sounds like PlayStation does have some not DRM, but basically a verification check that they've implemented since an update for basically games since March, I believe what it is, right? I've seen a lot of different variations of how this might impact. Like some people are like, this is everything that Microsoft was doing with the Xbox One back in 2013, where you had to check in every 24 hours. I've seen people talk about that if you don't check your PlayStation in for 30 days, you lose access to your entire digital library of games. Like I've seen all kind of crazy things about this. Now, I do know PlayStation, I believe it was to GameSpot, they essentially made a statement about this. And what it sounds like is if you when you buy a game, you need to do an initial verification check of that digital download, which sounds right. And then after that, you never have to quote unquote check it in again, whether you're online or offline, right? There is some post about saying if you bought a game and then you refunded it, and then essentially if your PlayStation stayed offline, you'd be able to play that game indefinitely. That's why they put the check in. I've seen a lot of different variations of this information, and I want to say it from my standpoint, and this is why I've not said anything, because I think there's a lot of misinformation online. A lot of people want to be technical experts as they sit on their couch and don't know what they're talking about. I would rather hear directly from PlayStation on what they're doing with it versus what someone on social media has tried to mansplain to me and tell me what it is. So I just look at it this way. If you buy a digital game, of course it needs to check in. Of course you need to verify the license on that. But it would be kind of ridiculous if now you lost access to it if your console was offline for an extended period of time. Now, I can understand in this current era of online that, yeah, even your console's gonna need to check in at some point. Steam even needs to check in at some point. I'm sure your Xbox needs to check in at some point. So logically, of course, the PlayStation's going to need to check in at some point. And we're talking digital games here, not something that's your physical copy. So I personally think this was a lot of noise versus actual reality of what it is. This is why I stay silent on it, because, if I say water's wet, people lose their minds. So I've tried to not say anything at all. But I think this was completely overblown, in my personal opinion, especially dealing with digital games, piracy, just everything. Of course, the game's going to have to check in at some point. That's just logical. But I do think there needs to be an extended offline period. Like, I think obviously I was in the military. This was something that came back up in 2013 with the Xbox One. If you're in the military, I don't have access to the internet. At some point, if I have to check in, I lose access to the game. So I still don't 100% know everything that's going on with this. I'm just saying that up front. But from the outside looking in, I think this is completely overblown, in my personal opinion. So that's why I was curious if the two of you had heard anything additional. So it sounds like none of us 100% know what's going on, other than the comment that PlayStation made to GameSpot, which says to me, this is completely overblown.
So I do have a question about that then.
Yeah.
What happens if you do we're going into make-believe land, right? Paris has, the game, it's locked to his account. You have a hardware failure and you have to either replace a motherboard or just get a whole new PlayStation 5 altogether. Will that ownership transition to the new device because it's locked to your account, or is it like hardware DRM locked to like your MAC address? Or
it has to be your account, because again, if you log in with your account, it's going to go online and verify that you're Pete. And here's the games that you own on your account. You now have access to those. Could you imagine if it was hardware locked? Oh, that would be insane. Because to the very point of what you're saying, if you have hardware failure, or you just simply buy a new console and you decide I had a PlayStation 5, but now I have a PS5 Pro, but everything's locked to the original PS5, that would be crazy. Now, if I remember correctly, the Switch actually did have a level of that. The original Switch, not the Switch 2, where I think games were tied to a device, and you had to go through a whole process to essentially transfer them over to the new device. But with the PlayStation, the Xbox, obviously games on Steam, PC, it's account based. And then you're going to go online, you're going to do a verification check. Yep, I own it. Now you go play the games.
So go ahead.
Let Rihanna speak. Who are you, Danny?
Jesus. Well, I was just going to say, like, one of the little things that bubbled up to me as I was in and out of meetings and presentations last week was a few folks saying it had something to do with returning games, but I wasn't sure exactly what that meant or how that impacts people. Is that something that got cleared up?
But see, kind of, but not really. And honestly, again, these are the Twitter technical experts trying to tell you this, right? So that doesn't make sense either, because guess what? Trying to return a game on PlayStation is damn near impossible. Once you've bought it and you've downloaded it, you own it, unless it's like a cyberpunk issue where the game is just simply broken. It is very hard to return a game. Now, Steam has a very generous return policy that if you've only played it for less than 2 hours, I think, or something like that, you can return it. Xbox, I don't even think does that. So for that to be the reason that they would have implemented this doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? So I didn't really buy that one. Like I said, it's from what PlayStation said, it sounds like the game just needs to go out and do a verification check. And after that, you're good. You own it. You're fine. So like I said before, I think a lot of this was just completely overblown. And I think it highlights where we are in social media right now. I'm not trying to get all preachy about that, but you can have a small thing blow up into a big old house fire. And unless the company itself comes out and actually addresses it, people run wild with all their conspiracy theories and all the reasons why. So even PlayStation's addressing it to GameSpot somewhat clears it up, but it left enough wiggle room that people still aren't buying it. Is my takeaway from it. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. We can actually move on from that because I do want to get into, Rihanna, what you were doing last week. Not Danny, what you were doing last week.
Danny did a lot. He was on stage.
Look, I'm sure you did all the heavy lifting. Being serious for a second, but I do want to talk about you're at iicon. That was the name of it, correct?
Yes,
if you can talk
iicon.
About that.
So the ESA, was it Entertainment Software Association, is famously previously known for running something called E3 for the young ones who aren't as familiar. E3 used to be gamer Christmas if you were watching along at home. For everybody in the industry, it was kind of like a marathon that lasted 5 days. It's lots of it's a trade show. What originally started as a trade show, it kind of turned into more of a festival. But the original intent was for different people who made games, made peripherals, distributed all of these things. It was for them to see what was going to be in stores the following holiday season so that everybody knew how to stock and how to prepare all of their retail plans. It eventually, of course, turned into, commercials for all of the games and everything that people had coming up from the big publishers. Nintendo famously exited E3's stage and created, I would say, kind of like I would say they made the blueprint for all of the showcases we're used to now, which is what it's truly evolved into. So that's how we hear about things that are in development, things that we should be getting excited about. And E3 is, just kind of largely faded away. Other things have popped up in its absence, like a Summer Game Fest from Jeff Keighley, like the ads and the announcements that we get at the Game Awards every December. And, of course, AIAS, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences, has the DICE Awards, which is an award show. But there are also occasionally some news beats that come out of that, as media is also invited to attend. So there are a few things that happen around the year that have kind of taken the place of what E3 used to be. But it is a gap, truly, in the calendar, especially for more of the non-endemic companies that are involved in games and interactive software. So I say interactive software specifically because there is, for instance, something I learned about at iicon, the Red Cross, how they're using interactive software to train rescue workers. Like, that is not a game, right? That's not something that's done for fun or entertainment or achievement or for profit. But those developers do have things to talk about with people who are making, let's say, GTA. So it's more on of the level of the development and high level decision makers. So these are company owners, these are CEOs, these are investors. This is not the same as E3. It's not the same as a Summer Game Fest or a DICE or GDC or anything like that. This is truly for the people who are looking to learn from one another primarily and also have access to one another where they normally wouldn't. In order to keep all of this interactive software on the bleeding edge and effective for all of the different reasons they need to build it. Stan from the ESA had a really great interview with Danny. If you haven't caught it, I think that's the previous episode. Check it out. It's not long. It's only 20 minutes, but he does a great job of explaining that gap that they're trying to fill because it's a very narrow one. And it's a little bit difficult to understand if you've never seen the business part, the trade show part of E3. But really, that's what it is and not anything else that we're used to seeing or even talking about on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. A lot of people may not understand why E3 was originally a thing. It was a show where a lot of business was getting done. The actual business of gaming was getting done at that show. And then it obviously has evolved over years and then became way more of a fan event. And then, unfortunately, its demise a few years ago. So to your point, so this show is trying to fill that gap of the business side of this, right? Where these companies are meeting the, people that are in positions of leadership, decision making are able to meet, have those conversations face to face and ultimately shape where gaming is going to go moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's indicative of the type of things you see on stage and on the calendar. There aren't a bunch of social events. It's not for that. It really is main stage and then breakout sessions, and that's it. Well, at least in this current iteration, it is the pilot, right? The first year. So at the inaugural conference, it was one big room where everybody kind of like walked in. There's a couple booths that are sponsored by the people who paid all the money, and food and lots of different pods of chairs so people can just sit and chat. And the temperature is really, really open and welcoming. People are willing to talk to people they've never seen before, which is really encouraging. I don't know how long that will last, right? It's with any event that happens every year, you start to find people you're comfortable around and you tend to gravitate towards them because you haven't seen them in a while. But it'll be interesting to see how it develops year over year. I think the ESA should be very proud of what they were able to accomplish this far. And hopefully the messaging can maybe be a little bit tighter for people who see a flashy thing and say, I want to go, but it's not really for public. It's not for fans of games. It's for the people who are making the big, big decisions about where they're going, as you said.
So that's my follow-up question to that. You kind of led me right into it, that because, I was asking this question offline, that this doesn't sound like it's an event for me. And to be clear, yourself and Danny, you have a consulting business. So, you are a part of this business of gaming, right? So it absolutely made sense for you to be there. But for someone like myself as a creator, or even just the media in general, because I guess there were media people there, it sounds like what you're saying. Again, outside looking in, this isn't really an event for the media, for fans, because these are people making business decisions, right? These are getting that face to face and, having those kind of conversations that, quite honestly, someone like myself, I really have no place being there. I mean, what am I going to do there? When's the next Gears coming out? Like, what am I asking? Right. So, just if you could kind of clarify that from your perspective.
Yeah, to give an idea, just broad strokes, like there's topics like online safety, and then you have the people from Forza, and then like I'm hearing
Yeah, I was going to say, if you could pause, that's Pete. Yeah, fix your audio. No.
Oh my God. I'll continue while Pete figures that out.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, it's yours, Pete. And it was sudden. It wasn't like that before. But you'll have panels such as like Forza, people from the online safety, and then you'll have the head of safety and player security from Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, and Epic there, right? And like that's not where you're going to hear game announcements. It's where you're going to talk about online safety features and how they're surveying their audience and parents of their players and figuring out how to give them new features to keep their kids protected while they're playing games online. Like that's not something that, GameSpot is going to cover, right?
Right, exactly.
So it's a little bit more inside baseball than even a DICE or a GDC, truly. It's not about new things that are being made. It's about the process of making things, I guess is the better way to say it. And there may be media there to cover the show itself, right, to talk about what the ESA is doing. And that's what the Gamertag did, of course, and other outlets. There may be people like Anangia Renee, who, of course, is also a consultant in the business, but is running alongside Adam Boyes with Vibrato. They're doing Gaming Decoded, which is literally talking to these execs about how gaming is made or how games are made and how the industry of gaming is changing or should change. That makes sense, right? Like, so there's people who are covering how the industry moves. That is the type of media that would attend. But let's say somebody who streams games or somebody who reviews games, it's not the same type of show where they would get any information that they couldn't get somewhere else. But nobody's breaking news or anything. They're not on stage saying like, here's a new Mortal Kombat. Like, no, but they're talking about the movie and how working with Warner Brothers and releasing, content for a game alongside content for a film is in that transmedia space and how they work together. And like, that's the type of conversation you're going to hear at iicon.
Interesting. Like I said, at one point I was considering going, and then I was in Japan and the logistics just didn't make sense. But it's good to hear your perspective on it, because I was very curious on what this event actually was, how it was being conducted. Like I said, again, just hearing from you and a couple other people, it really doesn't sound like it's something that I should be attending. It is definitely not a fan event. Fans should not be at something like this, because like I said, business is being conducted here. Decisions are being made at an event like this. And to your point, I can understand a limited amount of media there just covering the overall event itself. But yeah, I will definitely keep my eye on this and see how it evolves over the next few years. And I appreciate you breaking all that down for us.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it.
Now, Pete, so how's your audio? No,
you're
not
muted
there.
on
Yep,
our
we
screen
can't hear
here.
you.
Okay.
What about that? Okay, he's
Now
unmuted.
muted.
So while he tries to figure that out, something I've actually not talked about publicly, my week in Japan.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
For Forza Horizon 6. So full disclosure, Xbox and Playground Games invited me out to Tokyo, Japan, for the Horizon Festival for Forza Horizon 6. So, I've posted a ton on social media. I do have an actual preview video up on my YouTube channel kind of talking about my experience there, but I've not talked with you guys about it, specifically, other than to say it was great. I mean, I was there. How long was I there? I was there for 5-6 days, give or take, or whatever, with travel. And it was a lot of fun. I had not been back to Tokyo since the 90s when I was in the United States Navy. So going back and just certain memories flooding back in, but seeing how much has changed over that amount of time was crazy. The one takeaway that I will have from Tokyo is this: the United States, we're so far behind on technology. It is ridiculous.
Say more about that, please.
Oh my God. So as just a simple example, I land, I'm on T-Mobile. It flips over. I got 5G full bars everywhere I went. No issues at all. High speed on, cellular network without an issue. Wi-Fi everywhere. No problem. As far as just people concerned about language barriers and stuff like that, pretty much everyone that you would meet in any kind of store, shop, or whatever spoke enough English for you to be able to get by, right? English signs everywhere, so that's not an issue. I mean, I was down in Shibuya, just the Shibuya crossing, just all that. People that saw all the different pictures. At night, it's freaking Night City for Cyberpunk. That's what it is. Literally, I'm not kidding when I tell you that. And it was so interesting going from the daytime when nothing's lit up and then going to night. It's like a just completely different space. And the thing about Shibuya Crossing is they say that is if not the busiest, one of the busiest crossings in the world. And at first I was in the daytime, I was like, yeah, this seems kind of tame. I don't get it. Man, we went back at night. Oh my, it's like a game almost, right? When the crossings, the light switches, everybody runs out into the middle of the street. People are taking selfies. Peace gone. People are taking selfies and doing all this. And then you run across the street, you're taking pictures. It's like this event happening all night. And when I tell you there are thousands of people that are in that area at any one time, crazy, right? I went to, oh my God, I'm blanking on the name now, but I went down to the district where they have all these retro game shops. Me and Tim from Kind of Funny, we're hanging out, and amazing. We went to this one where, all right, what is Pete saying here? I think he's saying something here. Sounds good now, Pete. I don't know.
How about now?
And Pete, I'm hearing this. I hear you, but there's a weird static.
It's less though. I think we're good.
Yeah.
I'll just mute
We're
every
good
time
enough.
I don't talk.
No, you're good.
Yeah. No, mute every time you don't talk. I'm just kidding. No, but I went down to basically the retro gaming district, right? And we were hitting up all these retro gaming shops. And one of them is this 7-story building, and every floor is a different era of gaming. And it was really cool, obviously, to see it from the Japanese perspective. You saw the original Famicom, Super Famicom. I saw the Japanese version of Rob the Robot, just, nostalgia wise. You're seeing the original PlayStation, Japanese Sega Saturn. It's everything. Just boom, 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 all the way up to the modern era. And, as an example, cause the thing that Tim was looking for was Super Mario Brothers 2 on the NES actually wasn't originally a Mario game. It was
Puya Puya, right?
I thought it was Doki Doki.
Or Doki
Anyways,
Doki.
Yeah, Doki Doki.
Doki Doki.
But the point was he was looking for that original game and he found it. So he has like the original game before it was, they put all the Mario characters in there. So that was cool just from a nostalgia bit. Like Mega Man, as an example, in Japan is called Rockman. So if people look at some of the pictures that I post on social media, I'm showing like all the different Mega Man games, but they were Rockman games, right? So just cool stuff like that to be able to see. And like I said, going from the original, when gaming started like 40 plus years ago to the modern era, and every floor is just like this nostalgia hit of gaming and like all these different memories. And when you get to the very top floor, it was like all these, because again, the arcades in Japan were huge when I was there in the 90s, right? So that was like a blast from the past to see like all these old arcade machines up there on the top floor. So we had a blast. We had an absolute blast doing that. And then going to the actual Horizon Festival itself, they did that like it was in Shibuya, and it was like a parking garage. So every stage of the parking garage were like all these different cars that are going to be in Forza Horizon 6. And then they had these different events. They had like all these different Japanese foods that you could try while you're doing that. And you get up to the very top of the roof, and that was outside. And they're having a concert up there at the end of the night, and some of the awesome cars that were there as well. The only thing, and if you look at the pictures, you can see weather the entire time I was there, perfect. Horizon Festival rained the whole time. It rained, of course, right? And it was just funny because we knew it was going to rain, so kept asking some of the Xbox personnel that was there, "Hey, the weather forecast is saying 100% rain or chance of rain. What are you going to do?" And they were like, "We're just going to power through it." And that's what we did. They just powered through it, and it still was a great event. There were influencers essentially from all over the world. Really got to connect with some different creators like from Australia and Mexico while I was there. Really great people, and they weren't all necessarily gaming focused. They were like, we connected with some TikTok influencers that, they follow like, reality TV stuff, right? So we were having like conversations at dinner, diving into all the trash TV with reality. It was just fun. It was just a great event, being able to meet different people, with different perspectives that aren't necessarily hardcore into gaming like we are. Obviously they had like Forza specific creators there. So, they're completely locked in on knowing all the cars, and they got their sim racing set up. So that was the other thing. On one of the floors, we did get to play Forza Horizon 6 again, but it was the same preview build that we already played, but they also had like a sim racing setup. So you can actually do it with a racing wheel and all that too. So like I said, it was a blast, and I do appreciate, Xbox and Playground, inviting me out to that and being able to be a part of that. I mean, it's definitely a memory that, I will hold on to for a very long time. But I will say the coolest thing that happened while I was there, and this is just on a personal note. So I'm coming to sit down and play the preview again, and one of the Playground devs is there, and he freaking knew me. He knew us. He knew the content, everything that we do, watches all the time, and said how nervous he was when the previews came out to hear what we were going to have to say about the game.
Aww.
Like that to me is why I love doing this, to know that my dumb ass just got an opinion about video games. Like people way smarter than me, by the way, that are actually making these games, that is making this content that we talk about, like watch what we do and what our opinions are does matter to them, because they want to make the best game that they possibly can. Ultimately, that's what all this is about, right? So to hear directly from people that are making these games, because look, let's be real, Forza Horizon 6 is probably going to be one of the biggest games of 2026, right? Sure. And to know that, sure, they're confident about what they've made, but they still have those nerves, because until they actually hear from people outside of the studio that get hands on, like essentially they're handing their baby over to the world, what is everyone going to think? I'm always very respectful and appreciative of that. So yeah, again, it was an awesome event. Really loved it. Now, one thing that I do have to say, and this just goes back to travel wise. First of all, LAX to Tokyo, 11 hours, no problem. No problem. Like, it honestly felt like it was like 2 or 3 hours. Look, had a couple of drinks, took a nap, woke up, I'm in Tokyo. It was great. But one thing I have to say is that Tokyo airport, man, first of all, gigantic, huge. Again, technology is crazy. Here's my only complaint. I'm coming back, and I flew on American Airlines, right? So me, I don't like to last minute anything. I'm like, I'd rather get there super early and just chill in the airport versus rushing. I have no idea what the lines are going to be like. So I like to get there early. So I get there super early. I think 4 or 5 hours before my flight leaves. Crazy, right? Thinking it's going to be chill, get through the whole thing. I've never experienced this in my life where I go to do the check-in where you got to check your bags and all that. And I'm walking in where they're doing all that and I'm not seeing American Airlines. I'm confused. I'm like, where's American Airlines? Why I'm seeing all these other airlines? Where's American Airlines? To the point I finally asked someone and she goes, oh, they're not open yet. You need to wait until 9:30. And this was like 2 hours. I had to wait 2 hours before I could even check my bag in because American Airlines wasn't open yet. So I had to wait. I've never experienced that in my life. So long story short, me deciding to get there early didn't matter because I had to wait 2 hours to finally check my bag in. Then the freaking hoops they make you go through with security. I went through like 3 different security checks just to get to the damn terminal. Right. So by the time I got there, guess what? I had 45 minutes and then I got on the plane. That was crazy to me. I've never experienced that. And I've traveled international a million times, but that's the only airport I've ever experienced anything like that. So that was my trip out to Tokyo, Japan. Highly recommend if anyone gets the opportunity to travel, not UP because you go to the Poconos and everywhere, but highly recommend you go check it out. It is a fantastic experience and you'll love it. And Pete, just speaking on that, I know you've been to Tokyo a few times, right? Over the past few years? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a few times. I was curious, did you go to Haneda or Narita Airport?
Yeah.
Which one?
Haneda. Yeah, Haneda. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Haneda is it's funny, those two airports are vastly different, right? I would honestly say, although Narita is technically closer to Tokyo Center, Haneda is actually a little bit more like it's got it's bleeped together. But I always land in Narita, and that's where you have like the big Nintendo entrance, right? You like if you've seen the pictures I posted, you come down and you go down you're going down the escalator, and it's like you're literally in Nintendo World, right? That airport is basically a themed Nintendo park, and there's like Nintendo, like little Nintendo booths, all scattered throughout the airport. But yeah, I mean that's a country that if you asked me where I wanted to move right now, like if outside of where I'm living right now, like and even here, if you asked me where would you move, I'd say Japan immediately. Without
totally.
question. Like just from a technology perspective, a culture perspective, the food,
oh my God,
the meat, the beefs. Like I shouldn't be eating meat, but I mean, man, like there's if anybody watching or listening to the show, if you have one opportunity to travel outside of the country or wherever you live, go to Japan. That will be a life-changing experience. You will at that point start making alternate plans of figuring out how can I come back, because it is
absolutely.
It is a place like no other on this planet, and it's just fantastic. Yeah.
It really is. So while I'm thinking about it, I couldn't remember the area I was in with all the retro games. Akibara. That's where we were. And again, just amazing. Like if you're into any kind of retro gaming, if again, you just want to do a nostalgia trip, just go to that district of Tokyo. You can literally spend all day there. Now you brought up food for a second ago, 2 things. And ironically enough, I had sushi last night, but the best sushi I can have in recent memory was on that trip. Tim and I went to this restaurant in Shibuya, and it was like, I had bluefin, and oh my God, like they might as well have just chopped the head off the fish right in front of me and filleted it, because that's how fresh it was. It was crazy. It was so good. And this place was so bougie. You're only allowed to order one thing.
What?
You can only order one thing. That's it. You pick one type of sushi you want. That's it. That's it. You don't get to pick and all that. And everyone, like I said, this is, look, Bree, you're like this. This was Ocean Prime level of service they was giving us, right? And like they bring over all the sauces and take like everyone just one by one, and it was just, we were like treated like kings in there. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. But if you saw the picture, like I don't know if you saw the picture I posted of the ramen I had. Oh, it was so freaking good. And the irony is that wasn't even the spot. The real spot we wanted to go to, the real spot me and Tim were going to go to, the line was around the block. because that was considered the best ramen place in Akihabara. So we went to the second best one, and even that one had a line, but we stood in line. Oh my God, it was good. So it was like, I can't imagine how good the other one was if this one was so good. But yeah, the food just overall that I had the whole time there was just absolutely amazing. They had a Tower Records in Shibuya as well. You talk about taking me back to the 90s, because I have not been in a freaking record store since the damn 90s, right? So that was crazy as well, being able to do that. But it was cool to just explore and just walk around the city and just embrace the culture of everything that was going on. You see all these cool little shops and everything. Where I was, there was a Nintendo shop, there was a Capcom shop, there was a Bandai Namco shop. There was another one too. Now I'm forgetting, but just walking in there and bro, all the anime I saw, and just like, I mean, they had like Shogun Warrior stuff. I was losing my mind in there. I was like a kid in a candy store the whole time I was there. It was just, again, it was an amazing trip. And just to the point that you made, Pete. Yeah. If there's a place that I could live outside the United States, I would absolutely live back in Japan for sure.
There was a place called Don Quixote. It's called Don Quixote, and it's very similar to that, where every floor on the building is like a different technology, right? So you have one floor dedicated to PC gaming, one is dedicated to household, like hair dryers and irons and things like that. Then you go to the next one, and there's like the last 4 floors is all video games, right? And it's similar to that. The shop that you went to, though, is that the one that has the big, massive Mewtwo in a tank, like in water?
I'm blanking on the name. This one's it's famous. God, I'm blanking on the name. I should have had that in front of me. Oh my God, Tim, because Tim knew it right off, because the last time Tim was there, he went there. But it's like, we're talking to retro gaming, right? Is that what you're asking me?
No, it was the store that I saw. There was a One Piece shop. There was a Capcom shop. There was a Konami shop.
Yes, we were there, but okay. I'm forgetting the exact name, but that's where we were.
There's this massive, like, I can't even think it's a tank. There's a water tank. Where I don't want to spoil recent cartoons or anything. I don't know. It's like where you're like, think of like Star Wars when Luke was recovering and he was just floating in a water tank. But with that one, but it had like a big, massive Mewtwo from Pokemon sitting inside of it, like in recovery stage or whatever. It was just, I thought
if they did, I missed it. I didn't see it.
Okay.
And now we did go down to where they got the giant Godzilla though. That was cool.
Oh, the one overlooking the building, the hotel. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That hotel is actually themed around the Godzilla or Gojira, on the building and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep. So, like I said, it was an amazing trip. I don't want to belabor on it too much, because Rihanna, we actually have you here. We don't have Danny.
Yeah.
And it's such a pleasure to have you on the show and not Danny, that I want to make sure you get all the airtime that you can. And I actually want to shift the conversation more into current stuff. And believe it or not, we're going to play an old podcast trope. Rihanna, I want to know, what are you playing?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm still playing Pokopia, which we have said we will do a review on. I don't know if we will, but I am really enjoying that game. I tried to fire up Call of Duty the other day to no avail. It had too many updates and I fell asleep. I attended Danny's playthrough of Sorrows, so I have lots of thoughts about that game. And I'm trying to think of what is like announced, what's public.
I know, that's always a trick.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I think that's the main stuff that I'm playing right now. I'm always playing, this is so random. I'm always playing a mobile game called Void Tyrant that nobody has heard of. It's actually a deck builder dungeon crawler, and it's quite brilliant. You can either pay for it to not have ads or suffer through the ads. I've done both. I started just suffering through the ads, but then I finally just paid it was like $3 to never see an ad again. And I'm finally to the last level, but I can't seem to get the right build to get past it. So I've been banging my head against that for a while. But that's like my standing in line, like waiting for something game on my phone.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Now, Pete, I'm curious, what have you been? I'm actually fascinated with you, P. Let's pause on this for a second. I'm fascinated with you
Oh my
because
God.
no, and I'm being serious. I'm being serious because obviously you, with your career, you're traveling a lot. Obviously you live over in the EU now, over in Switzerland, and when you do have time, like what are you playing at home? But then when you're on the go, what are you playing when you're traveling too?
Honestly, I'm probably the most boring gamer in the entire group of us. Yes, I still play PUBG. I've actually played a lot less video games in the last 3 or 4 weeks, as I've, just focusing on work. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're opening 2 properties in the next 2 months. So my time is really, really limited to what I can do when I get home. But it's been a lot of either PUBG, Arma 3 Reforger. I've actually gotten back to that. It's something that, it was basically the precursor to PUBG, right? But I've been playing that a lot online. Ready or Not, which is a game from that I've been playing for the last few years. It's a police multiplayer. Actually, sorry, it's not multiplayer. It's a PvE, but it's a very, very high difficulty curve. And then when I'm on the road, simulator games are the most ridiculous time consumer for me. So there was Grocery Store Simulator. I admit it. I got sucked in.
Yeah.
Frostpunk has always been a game that's captured me for years. Slay the Spire 2, and Hades 2. That's probably.
Oh yeah, I'm still playing Hades 2 as well.
It's cocaine.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely is. Real quick, I need to advocate for myself a little bit. I just, the ESRB just released my parents' guide to Hades 2, and it's so hard not to glaze that game in any kind of information I type about it. So they had to edit down so much of my guide because it was really just like, okay, so this is the best game ever made, and everyone should play it as many times as possible. But really, it's a parents' guide, so they just need to know, like, how dangerous is it for kids to play it without its supervision. I also have another parents guide coming imminently for Lego Voyagers, which I played with Danny. He was very gracious to help me with that because it is a 2-player co-op game. You cannot play it alone. And that's coming soon to the ESRB parents guide blog. But yeah, Hades 2 is one of the best games ever made. Like, period.
No, you're right. I mean, I'll just briefly jump in on what I've been playing. Hades 2. Because it is one of the best games ever made. And it's crazy to think, like, last year, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait till it's 1.0 because I played a little bit of early access. And then end of the year, I'm all in playing it. It was my game of the year for last year.
Yeah.
Just is. Yeah. Ironically enough, by the time the dust settled, that was my game of the year. And I've actually started again because now that it's on Xbox on Game Pass, I was like, I'm gonna just start all over.
And it keeps getting better because they're not done, right? Like, it was the best game I've ever played in a long time. Preview, like in early access, without all the art assets, it was still that good.
Yeah. One thing I'm still in progress because again I was traveling Tokyo and so I missed the review obviously for Sorrows. So I've been playing Sorrows but I'm not done. I'm on 3rd biome now, and it's really good, really really good. It's enough of Returnal, but different enough from Returnal that you can see the quality of life changes, the way they're making it more inviting to get more people in to play it. I feel like it's not as punishing as Returnal was, but the bosses can be tough still, which is good. So I do feel like there's a challenge there, but I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it's definitely one of the best games that I've played this year. I'd even go back to Pragmata again, talking about that. I just adore that game. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think this is like the year of Capcom because obviously Resident Evil already, that's going to be in the game of the year conversation for sure. Onimusha, I never say it right. Onimusha, is still on the way. That when we checked that out at Summer Game Fest, was that last year or the year before? Whenever that was. Looks really, really good. So I can't wait for that to come out as well. And then, there's Redacted. Redacted is pretty good. Really liking Redacted. Good. Yeah, I think people will be pleasantly surprised with Redacted. Can't wait to Redacted about Redacted, but we'll Redact it. you know.
Yeah.
But that's about it, really. I will go back to this, my petty Pendergrass phase. As some people can see that watch this live, I'm wearing my Project Helix shirt, and you gosh darn right, I wore it at the Horizon Festival on purpose, just because I think the pretend outrage on that online was absolutely ridiculous when they saw people, creators and people in certain tech fields were getting the quote unquote, what do they call it? The parasocial Project Helix package. The funny thing is now I'm noticing a lot of just fans of Xbox are starting to get it as well.
Yeah, and they always were going to get it, to be clear, y'all. They didn't change course because a few people got mad online. This was the plan ahead of time.
Of course. And there may have been some conversations I had while I was in Tokyo about the whole nonsense of that. But I am happy to see that fans are getting it as well, because of course you want them to get it. And like I had told some people on social media that were upset that fans weren't getting it. I was like, you got to look at it this way. They can't give it to millions of people. So I would imagine, because my thought was at the time, I was like, I would imagine they're going to take care of people at FanFest, because they'll have the FanFest in LA, and they're obviously going to be doing the global tour with it, Gamescom and Seattle and Mexico and some other, I think Japan as well. But anyways, they're doing FanFest all over the country, or all over the world, I should say, the rest of this year. That's the opportunity. That is the event to celebrate with the fans. And that's what they're going to do. So I would expect you're going to see a lot of different merch and memorabilia and collectibles and things that fans of Xbox are going to be able to get at those events. I even had someone ask me, because, I've noticed people are starting to get their invites to FanFest for the LA event, right? And they're posting on social media. And someone had tagged me in a thing asking, hey, what to expect at FanFest? And my response was a good time. Because you're going to be with people that are genuinely excited about gaming, passionate about gaming. Social media is not real life. If you notice, I talk a lot of crap about social media because I think it's nonsense, but it's not real. When you go to these face-to-face events, there's no drama. Everybody's happy to be there. Everyone's smiling and hugging and having a good time. That's what you can expect at FanFest. And I highly recommend anyone that is into gaming and all that, if you get a chance to go for sure, because you will enjoy it. As well as I always recommend people go to PAX, go to Comic-Con, go to these fan events where you actually meet people that are genuinely excited about the hobby versus the pretend stuff that you see on social media where, oh no, someone got sent a hoodie and I'm outraged. No, you're not. You just wanted it yourself. That's the only reason. But I'm just saying all that to say, which kind of leads me into I guess we got to play the voicemails too, but I do want to talk about this as well, and we'll end with the voicemails. So I'm curious, Rihanna, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the rest of the year? Like we got Summer Game Fest coming up, so we'll be there. Not you, Pete, you'll be in the Poconos, but we'll be there. And obviously we'll see what we see and whatever they have appointments that we already have and stuff like that. But what is on your radar for the rest of the year? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, of the things that I can talk about, I think that my biggest two things. My biggest anticipation is Fable. I love the Fable series. I have played all of them more than once. I've been waiting a very long time for it to come back. I love what I've seen so far. I like that what we're seeing is that your choices really do change the world, and that's always part of one of the tenets of Fable. And in a single player game, it's really exciting to see that they're keeping that up, and they're giving you a good amount of enemy variety so far. There's even more to come. I love that all of the dialogue from the NPCs is bespoke, in voice. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of care there, and in an era where you're getting a game that is not for me for a lot of those reasons, like a Crimson Desert, for instance. I just really love the human touch, and I'm really excited to dig into it and just explore every corner of that world, because that's what I like about games. I just like investigating what everybody did, basically. Yeah. All the work that went into it. So that's probably my most anticipated. My biggest question mark, Clockwork Revolution. I need to know what's going on with that game. I just need to know. I love BioShock series. It's giving me all of those vibes in the best way. And the last things we've seen from him has such a vibe to them that I'm okay, give me more. It's like right. When you get a really good appetizer at a restaurant and you're like, okay, where's the meal? Like, I'm hungry. My appetite is properly whetted for that game. So I'm excited to see more of it.
Yeah. Big same with me. Now, Pete, I know your palate is limited, but I am curious.
Damn.
Oh, he said it himself. I'm just repeating what he said.
It's true. It's true. No, there's a handful of games, and I think the one that everybody knows about is GTA 6. Yes, it's allegedly in November. Who knows? And that's still questionable at best. End of this month, obviously, 007. I am looking forward to that. That is a game that is right up my alley. Obviously, Wolverine in September. I mean, there's going to be two reasons for Peter to get a PlayStation 5 this year, and I just checked; it's still under $500 here in Switzerland. So,
damn, how many shots fired today?
I know, right? I had to. So yeah, there's likely going to be an investment sometime in the coming months, just so that I can play a little bit of both, right? I want to play Wolverine. I want to play this. Maybe the Star Wars Galactic Racers game. That one has my interest peaked. So if there's like an outlier game that's out there that's not the traditional hack and slash or shooter style game for me, it would be that one.
Yeah, right on. I would say to me, GTA 6 doesn't even count. That thing transcends gaming. That is literally just an actual just event that's going to happen, right? It, for pop culture, the whole deal. Honestly, for me, I would say the one I'm anticipating the most is Gears of War E-Day.
Yeah, for sure.
It is something I've always wanted to see since when you first get that opening monologue in the original Gears of War talking about Emergence Day. Now we finally get to experience it from the perspective of Marcus and Dom. So I'm very excited for that. Obviously, that'll be a part of the Dev Direct after the Xbox Showcase in June. So we'll really get some real like actual gameplay and hear from the coalition about it. So very for that. To your point, Pete, Wolverine, of course. Obviously huge fan of Wolverine. So to get that game in Insomniac is always fantastic with their game. So I can't wait to see that as well. One that has been long rumored, but we will see what it is in execution is Modern Warfare 4. Allegedly, the next Call of Duty. Supposedly this is the big one. This is going to be a huge one. Allegedly it's coming from Infinity Ward. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be. And again, if you go by rumors and speculation and leaks, that Ocarina of Time remake, oh my goodness gracious. Oh, I can't wait. Is just
of Nintendo.
A game that that was the first game that I remember kind of coming into this modern era of online and forums and anticipation. I remember being in the forums like back in 97, reading about, the Zelda game and being so excited for it. And I was there in line, opening day when it came out, got the gold cartridge, everything. And it exceeded my expectations. That was the first game I can ever remember doing that. And one of the few that have actually just exceeded everything that I thought it could do. So I'm very excited to see what that's going to be. Again, rumor and speculation, but allegedly CD Projekt Red is coming out with a Witcher 3 expansion that will bridge us into The Witcher 4. So if that happens, I will be on board with that. Can't wait. But speaking of CD Projekt Red, former CD Projekt Red devs at Rebel Wolves with The Blood of Dawnwalker, which I got to preview last year, and they obviously just did their big.
Me about that one.
Yeah,
that looks good.
There is a 3-week period in September that we know of that is insane. You're going to get The Blood of Dawnwalker on September 3rd, Phantom Blade Zero, like right after that. I think like September 9th or something, and then Wolverine on September 15th. Boom, 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 boom. Crazy. I have no idea I'm going to have time to do all of this, but I'm going to try and figure it out. And there's going to be other stuff too, because Gears E-Day is probably September, early October, up in there somewhere. So we'll see on that, but it's going to be crazy. And then, what was the other one? There's another game coming out. Oh my God, I'm blanking on it right now, but there's another game. Oh, I'm screwing it up. I cannot think of the name off the top of my head, but I played it at the at GDC at the the Xbox, like they did for ID at Xbox at GDC. It's from the makers of Spiritfarer, and I'm screwing it up because I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
Ooh.
It's gonna be, oh my God, I can't wait to play it. And
I mean, that's all you have to say, really.
Yeah. So I'm screwing it up too. And like I said, we know there's going to be other stuff that gets announced through Summer Game Fest and all that. It's going to be crazy. A game that I'm really looking forward to, just because who's making it, but we know so little about it, is Judas from Ken Levine.
Yeah. Has there been anything at all?
Other than when Skill Up, Lucy and Jake got to see it last year, and I know a couple other outlets did too. They went, to the studio and sat down with Ken Levine and got to see an early build of it. We've not heard a peep since. So I would assume, knock on wood, we hear something this year about it. I doubt it comes out this year, but at least maybe we get another look at it. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. But look, as crazy as this, and I answered this in the chat. Someone in the chat said, "What do you think the price of GTA 6 is going to be?" 70. It'll be $70 because here's what they're gonna do. No. This is what they're gonna do. This is how they're gonna get you. The base game will be 70. You want that early access? You want that FOMO? Oh, you giving us $100 because they know everybody's could be. But this is my point. They're going to do an early access on that, and that will be where they make their money because no one's going to wait.
No,
you're not going to wait. You're going to go get it. Just like Forza Horizon 6, they're doing an early access. People ain't waiting until May 19th. They get an early access once they can play it on the 15th. It's going to happen. That's how to get you. So there will be the base entry price for people that can actually wait. I do think it will be $70. I truly, genuinely believe that. But you're going to pay out of pocket if you want to play it a few days early. And that's how they're going to get you.
That's fair. Chat just reminded me, thanks, John Wiki. Control Resonant is also high on my list.
That was the one I was thinking of. That was the one. That was the one I was trying to remember. Yeah. Oh my God. And that is that. If that's in September, I quit. I give up. I seriously.
I think what they said 2026. They haven't really given us much more. Than that.
Because I'm imagining September, October for that.
It's like October. Was it not last year, but the year before, where literally everybody just dumped all their games into October. And it was just brutal. Another one that's coming out in a few days here that I do want to give a shout out to. It's not like Summer Game Fest timeframe anticipation, but Mixtape is on its way.
Oh, yes.
And it's just so cool and different. And I'm imagining not long, which is nice, truly. Yeah. And the bit that I played at Summer Game Fest Play Days this past year was truly like, it's stuff I've never done in a game before. And like, that's so rare these days. It was just so cool. And I can't wait to actually play it. I can't wait to see the full thing. Such a vibe. That's gotta be a big one for me.
I had to Google it when I was tripping about the game coming from Thunder Lotus Games. Yeah. So it's At Fate's End. It's a 2D action adventure game that is coming out this year on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And like I said, saw that idea at Xbox.
Yeah.
It's going to be right up there too. Yeah, this is going to be a crazy end of the year. And it's wild because the first half has already been fantastic as far as gaming goes.
Oh,
and
snap.
It's just going to get better.
Black Flag Resynced, Cheeto Gaming Live. Thank you.
Yeah,
that one too.
Yeah, y'all have fun with that one.
The best Assassin's Creed game. I don't want to hear any arguments. Black Flag deserves a remaster, and I'm excited for that.
So I'm looking at the time. We were actually at the hour point, and we did not play the voicemail. So I'm going to leave it up to you, Ree. Danny's not here, so we can do whatever we want. I'm going to leave this up to you, Ree. Do we play the voicemails, or do we hold them for another day?
I think we can hold them. They're sort of evergreen topics.
I agree.
Yeah, this was a good conversation. I'm excited to finally be on a full show and not furiously typing my thoughts into the chat window like I usually do on Sunday mornings.
Well, to be honest, you can just replace Danny permanently as far as I'm concerned. He does not need to be on the show anymore. All he's going to go is foreskew. I was right, but you're wrong because it didn't happen. And he tries to I'm going to spam the forums. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything else.
He knows what to click a little bit better than me. I'll give him that.
I'm literally waiting for him to come busting through the door like freaking the Kool-Aid man. That's not true.
Not chat saying Danny who. Stop, y'all. Oh, that's funny. But no,
Well,
in all seriousness, thank you for being so cordial, for me replacing the man in the chair. I love talking about games. I
yeah.
miss being on a show every week, so it's nice to just hop in every once in a while and dump my thoughts out. So appreciate it.
No, of course. You are always welcome here. And I will say again, I wish, look, as you and Danny continue to grow your family, which is such a blessing.
Thank you.
I wish we could all be on together at once, but there's children involved and there's all this.
Time
So
zones.
yeah, exactly. So I get it, Pete. That's your fault.
Poconos Pete.
Yeah, Poconos Pete. That's your new name. I'm calling you that from now on. That's your new name. You're no more Scumbag Pete. And look, this is the anniversary of Scumbag
Exactly.
Pete.
Like 13, 14 years ago.
He's dead. You're now Poconos Pete. That's your name. Hilarious. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap up the show here. But no, Rihanna, I'm being serious for a second, always love your insight and your perspective on things. Definitely want you to be more upfront and vocal about these things versus typing in the chat as you have been before. I always love, obviously, when you and Danny are able to do an episode and look, you're able to get your thoughts out, and he's more respectful to you. He don't cut you off like he'd be cutting us off. But
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. This is true. He can't help himself. But being serious, I definitely would love to have you on more. I would love to be able to have more of these conversations. Obviously, we'll all be at Summer Game Fest, so I'm sure we'll collab up with some stuff and talk about some of the things that we get to see in that, do a post show, all the bits with that as well. But Pete, is always great when we're able to get together. I won't say what it was, but Danny and I actually had a chance to kind of reminisce about the days of Gamertag Radio and, how we all got started and got into this. And you've always obviously are a huge part of everything that we're doing. Look, life comes about, careers, all that. I get that you can't be on as much as, we are these days, but your insight and perspective on things are always appreciated because we're not doing any of this without you. That's just the truth.
Appreciate it. And damn it, got the onion cutting people here in the room now. Damn it.
Yeah. And Danny, the only contribution you made to this was your idea, and then we just took it and ran with it. So You don't need to be on the show anymore. Just round
wrote himself out the show.
You could retire.
Nah, but I will say again, one thing, being serious, none of us are here without Danny. That is the God honest truth.
100%.
I'm not doing this without Danny. I cannot say that enough. He was the one that started all of this. God damn it, I got to say nice stuff about him.
Only when he's not here.
Yeah, when he's not here.
Exactly.
He is the most generous and supportive person I know. He looks out for so many people that y'all wouldn't even know. I'm doing what I'm telling you. He's always been there. He's always supportive. He's always looking out. He's always helping. He's helping people before he helps himself. If there is a slight character flaw in Danny, it would be that, but it's a good character flaw to have. He's very selfless in that way. And I can't say enough. Like I said, the three of us yapping on this right now without Gamertag Radio, he is Gamertag Radio. He's the one that started all this. Absolutely. And, like I said, we're family at this point. Like, look, marriages, kids, like all of it. We've all been there, is part of it. And I'm very thankful, Rihanna, that you are now a part of this family as well. And like I said before, to watch you and Danny just continue to grow your family is a blessing. Look, I'm Uncle Paris now.
Uncle Paris.
Look, I'll say this before we go. To have Violet see me and immediately run up to me and want me to pick her up and hug her. Oh, just cutting onions. Just cutting onions.
And then ask you for her gaming PC?
Yes, because I remember she was so shy at first and would just latch on you and would not let go. And to see now just running up to me and don't stop talking at all. Violet, like her dad, can't be quiet. She just yip the whole time. It's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's so great. So
even as recent as a couple months ago. Like when we all met up in Beverly Hills, like she was like, granted, it was a little bit later than her normal time. She had gotten, she wasn't feeling well, but still, Yeah, I mean, it's like 3 months ago, it wasn't the same. And now all of a sudden, boom, she's latched on.
Well, she sees you guys every Sunday. Like, we watch the show from the other room.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's Uncle Paris and Uncle Pete.
All right. Before one of us start crying, let's just go ahead and end this. So this has been Gamertag Radio, episode 1517. I'm Paris. That's Rihanna. That is Pete. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And, we'll be back really soon. Not Danny.
Here you go.
Yeah. All right.